You have a certain cunning, Tyrion, but the plain truth is that you talk too much. That loose tongue of yours will be your undoing. You have a bold tongue, little man. One day someone is like to cut it out and make you eat it. Everyone tells me that. Do all dwarves have tongues like yours? Someone is going to cut it out one of these days. Now I could keep on going, but the point is clear. One day, in Winds of Winter specifically, Tyrion Lannister may lose his tongue. And in this video, I'm going to discuss several crazy outlandish theories that you may or may not have never heard of. Before I jump into any of that, please do me a massive favor and slap a like on this video, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. Like goal for this video is going to be 42069. Long night! Now, alright, jumping right into it. At the beginning of this video, I'd listed several different characters talking, one of which was Oberyn, Tywin, and Bronn. All of these characters who revolve around Tyrion's POV tell him similar things. There are literally dozens of examples in the books of people telling Tyrion to watch his fucking mouth or he's going to lose his tongue. So, if you compare that along with the fact that his brother Jaime lost his hand and that sort of was the ultimate turnaround, obviously Tyrion has gone through similar events, but if he were to lose his tongue, that would be especially tragic for his character. The main reason being is because Tyrion is known as the most cunning and the smartest individual. As a matter of fact, he's got such an innate ability to maneuver himself by using his words. Removing his tongue would actually be a way of like killing his character without actually killing them. Like for instance, there's several characters in the books that use tongue removal as an example of sort of furthering their plot agenda. For the most part, we hear of people like Aerys, Craster, Joffrey, Victarion, Varys, Euron, both of the Boltons. All of them use tongue removal as a tool to sort of get rid of their enemies, right? So sometimes you can't necessarily kill them, but if you get someone silenced, it's sort of the same way. They can't ever sort of explain what happened or whatever secrets you want them to keep. Now with Tyrion's story, I don't necessarily know if it'll happen like where there's still some story to be told. I think this would be something that would happen towards the end, and maybe it happens even more tragically. Like there's rumors that basically Tyrion could run into his ex-wife across the narrow sea, and if that's the case and he can't talk, well, just imagine how insane that would be to read, reading his inner thoughts, and maybe he tries to like write something down, but it doesn't quite work. It's crazy. I mean, we all have to remember when thinking about the end game, when Dream of Spring and Winds of Winter, for these characters, it's bittersweet. So yes, Tyrion will technically survive, but he's going to be severely mutilated and no longer Tyrion. Like, one of his coping mechanisms in the books is eating and drinking and conversing with people. So if he has that removed from him, when you read Tyrion's POV, that's probably worse than death. But you all let me know what you think about that theory down below in the comment section. Moving on here, and I don't know if I'm going to spend as much time talking about this theory because I have actually mentioned it before recently. Check the link down below in the description. But it's basically that if Jon Snow is actually brought back, he's going to be closer to Lady Stoneheart than Beric Dondarrion. Main reason being is because every time Beric is brought back, he loses a little bit of himself. But with Lady Stoneheart, she's so severely wounded and left out in the river and just so destroyed physically that when she's brought back, she's obviously even more so destroyed mentally. So she doesn't speak and she's all about bloody revenge. And she, most of the time, is hell-bent on getting basically revenge for her house and her family, even if she hurt some people that didn't necessarily do anything to offend her. For instance, there's a theory that Lady Stoneheart will use the Brotherhood Without Banners to re-infiltrate into a certain Lannister. I think it's Davin Lannister and a Frey girl. There's a theory that Lady Stoneheart will use the Brotherhood Without Banners and slaughter everyone in there as vengeance for the Red Wedding. Now, I'm relating this back to Jon. One of the things, I know book readers don't like to do this, but one of the things we kind of can do for almost all of these characters, the ones that are still alive on the show at least, is look at what happened to Jon as soon as he was brought back. The showrunners, Dan and Dave, made it seem as though Jon is a lot more vengeful and brutal, and although that storyline was kind of abandoned when Jon goes to try to save the North, by going to try to get all of that dragonglass, and then ultimately allying with Daenerys and saving pretty much the world, Daenerys did, Jon sort of helped, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, he was extremely more vengeful. The first thing he did was pay back for the vengeance of his death. So in the story, in the main story, in the books, Jon is a lot more conniving and manipulative. For instance, his character is known as being one of the most smartest individuals for a lot of the choices that he makes. So I don't think it's going to be quite cut and dry, like Jon will be a little bit more vengeful, and then he'll ultimately go back to what his main goals are. I think Jon will actually be worse than Lady Stoneheart 2.0. I think when Jon comes back, because of the way that he went down, and yes, like his body's kept on ice, but Jon will have to handle things a lot more quickly, and part of letting the boy die and letting the man be born was literally what happened to him. So Jon Snow dying and being resurrected is going to sort of turn him into, if I had to guess, more so like Lady Stoneheart than he is like Jon Snow. You all let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. Next up, one of my favorite characters, Daenerys. Now, I don't really like this theory at all, but this video wasn't necessarily about me, mentioning my favorite theories. This one is more so one that kind of has some credibility, and I hate the fact that it has credibility, but we have to entertain it. Daenerys is basically in the middle of nowhere, starving, hungry. She's having internal thoughts that basically make her think she's a dragon. She realizes that maybe she isn't meant to rule and become this great leader. Maybe she's meant to literally be a dragon. And then what happens next is kind of crazy. Like, we don't exactly know because it's not written yet, but we know that she ends up getting surrounded by a large Dothraki horde. Now, if what happens to her on the TV show is something that we can sort of take to thought when we want to theorize for what's going to happen with her in Winds and in a dream, well, then maybe those thoughts manifest. Maybe she is raped at Vaz Dothrak. Maybe that is the last straw that breaks the camel's back, and maybe Drogon abandons her and then comes back when he knows that's happening, and she burns the entirety of that place down. Maybe she then proceeds to go back and burn all of Meereen. We don't really know what's going to happen with Daenerys' journey. That's why it excites me so much. If I had to guess, I would assume it would be a sort of mix of the two of those, right? So she's going to realize that she is a dragon, but you'll have a choice to sort of rule where she's at or go and conquer Westeros. Or maybe if staying where she is and establishing a more united kingdom and basically choosing the Red Door is maybe the journey that she goes. Like, obviously, she's not going to just stay where she is, but maybe the events that happen to her cause the Targaryen madness to take over, and maybe she begins to start to burn the Seven Kingdoms, and something happens with Jon where in the last moment she's saved. We don't really know at this point, but I will say, make sure everyone goes and wishes George R. R. Martin happy birthday over on social media. Now, these last two theories, I'm not going to spend really any time. I'll just explain what the theories are, and then I'll get out of here. You all let me know what you think about them down below in the comment section. But this is like a popular one that a lot of YouTubers, A Song of Ice and Fire YouTubers, as well as Reddit commenters have sort of like given credence to. And it's that basically Meera will have sex with or is raped by Hodor's Bran. So Bran will take over Hodor's body, and because he sort of has a likeness, he's kind of in love with Meera, that he'll use Hodor's body to perform sexual acts on Meera. You all let me know what you think about that one down below in the comment section. I'm obviously not that big of a fan of that theory. And then lastly, and this one's that Cersei will have a sexual relationship with Tommen, and in a crazy attempt to bring her son closer to her, as she will try to desperately do everything within her power to keep him safe. Now, obviously, that one is just as absurd as the one before that, so you all let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you all enjoy these Winds of Winter, this seems like a good point to wrap this video up, but if you all enjoy these Winds of Winter videos, the theory videos that I do, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on, then also leave a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 42069. I want to thank you all so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. Long night. Oh,